Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Louise Coyle. I'm the course coordinator for Business and Humanities courses at the Centre for Adult Learning and Professional Development at NUI Galway. I will be joined this afternoon by colleagues from the School of Languages, Literatures and Cultures and from Acadh na Hoscoileacht na Gaeilge. Just a little housekeeping before we start. This webinar is being recorded, so I'd ask you to keep your cameras and your microphones off during the presentations. At the end of each presentation, we'll have a question and answer session, and you can pop your questions in the chat box. We'll be covering the diplomas in French, German, Italian, Irish, and Spanish. And just before we start, I want to just make you aware of some important dates for the diplomas in French, German, Spanish, and Italian. Applications are open at the moment. They will close on the 31st of August. It takes approximately 2 weeks to process your application. Student online registration will open on the 24th of August, and that's a separate process from applying online. Our orientation for adult learners is scheduled for the 3rd of September. First year teaching will start on the 12th of September, and second year teaching will start on the 5th of September. And just keep in mind that from the time you accept your offer of admission, it will take at least 5 working days to get through the registration process and activate access to online learning resources. So I'd say have your application in as early as you can to make sure you have everything done by the time teaching starts. And for Irish, applications open this week. They'll close on the 12th of September. It takes about 2 weeks to process the application. First year teaching will start on the 19th of September, and second year teaching will start on the 12th of September. Our website is listed there if you want to look for more information about our courses. And if you have any queries going forward, you can email artspt@nuigalway.ie.
Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you for your interest in our diploma programs, which are very popular and have been very popular. So my name is Máire Ányoni. I am Head of French and also Deputy Head of the School of Languages, Literatures and Cultures at NUI Galway. So our diploma in French has been in existence for over 20 years and has been very popular over the years. So what do you need to know before you apply for our French diploma? First of all, the course is online. The Galway course is online only. We do have a face-to-face and in-person course in Ennis in the Clare Education Centre, but the Diploma in French Galway is online and will remain online for the duration of the cycle. So if you start the diploma now, you will continue online for the duration of your programme of study. The course is offered at intermediate and advanced levels only. Intermediate level would suit people who have not studied French for a number of years, who may have studied it in school many years ago, or who may not have done the higher level program at second level. And then advanced level is for those who already have studied French at higher level, who may have lived in France for a period of time, or who have a high level of fluency in the language and may want to perhaps practice writing skills, grammatical skills. Now, you choose your suitable level in September when you start, and you may move between programs as well. So that means that you must have some prior knowledge of French. This course is not suitable for complete beginners. So you need at least an A2 level. So if you've done the A2 level with the Alliance, you're welcome to join us, but it really is not suitable for complete beginners. Students will have some prior knowledge of the language. Our lecturers are very experienced native speakers. They have won many teaching awards over the years, and they utilize the latest technologies for language learning. So course structure. So as Louise said, our teaching begins on the 12th of September for first year. Our lectures will be on Monday evenings, live, online, from 6:30 to 9:30. And that will continue over the 12 weeks of the semester. Our academic year is divided into two halves, which we call semesters. Each semester has 12 weeks teaching, a study week, and then an examination. So there will be a written examination at the end of each semester, December and May. And also you will have an online oral examination in semester 2. And that generally happens in late April when teaching has finished. So usually in week 13, study week, normally we have our oral at that time. So why learn French? Why should you do the diploma? So first of all, as well as France, French is spoken in over 50 countries worldwide, including Canada, Belgium, Morocco, Algeria, and many others. France is a world leader in medical research, science, technology. French is also a diplomatic language. It's one of the 5 official languages of the UN. And now, after Brexit, it's the main language, main working language of the EU. If you want to appreciate French art and literature, and France has more Nobel Prizes in literature than any other country. So at the end of year 2, you will be able to read literature in the target language. Other reasons, holidays. France is a great place to visit. Millions of people travel to France each year, and being able to speak French with a degree of fluency will make your visit much more meaningful and enjoyable. You will be able to interact with people and enjoy and go to places perhaps that you would normally not go to because of language barriers. And of course, very useful for future career and will enhance your degree. And the most important reason now, France is our closest European neighbour. So Ireland always has had strong links with France, and these are being strengthened now since Brexit. So language diploma graduates are very well regarded by employers for the range of transferable skills they develop, as well as the oral skills in language. You'll develop skills in presentation, in teamwork. A diploma in French can greatly enhance your degree in business, law, science, medicine, policing, engineering, and so on. So most companies now, for example, have subsidiaries or have relations with companies abroad. So a diploma in French can greatly enhance your degree. And then if you wish to proceed, further study at degree level can serve as pathways to specific careers such as teaching, translation, and so on. So a question we're constantly asked, the diploma in French does not qualify you to teach. The diploma in French is equivalent to first year BA honours level. That is the level it brings you to. So if you wish to proceed, then you can go directly into the second year of the BA program in French, but it will not qualify you to teach. And that is a question that we constantly get. It is not a diploma for teaching purposes. So if you have any further questions, I'm in the Arts Millennium building. You're welcome to drop in. If you want to speak to me in person, drop me an email and I'll get back to you straight away as well. If you have any questions now, please feel free to ask them, or you may email me later on or phone as well through the switchboard. So merci beaucoup et à bientôt.
My name is Gabi Behrens. I'm the course coordinator for the Diploma in German at the University of Galway. I'm also a lecturer, and as Maura Onya already pointed out, our courses are taught by native speakers as well. And just to give you a short overview, If you are interested in studying German in an evening part-time course, we offer 2 different courses. The first year is especially for beginners, so no previous knowledge of German is necessary to join in. And it will give you a nice and good introduction to basic grammar, vocabulary, so that you are able to have a little chat about your family and yourself. And this course will start on the 15th of September. It's on Wednesday evenings from 6:30 to 9:30. And we also offer for more knowledgeable people of German who have previous knowledge, whether it's leaving cert or any other experience when you lived already in Germany or did another course. We will do a short assessment, but usually you can join right away into the second year. It's for the intermediate, not just for advanced. So we start here with level A1, A2, and it brings you up to the beginning of B1. And this will be offered the second year on Thursday evenings, also from 6:30 to 9:30. And we start on the 8th of September. So both courses will be offered in a blended learning format, which means you can either participate on campus in class and meet directly other students, or you can also participate online through the Blackboard virtual classroom. So it worked very well. We practiced this last year already. So you have both possibilities. If you can't come to class on campus, you can still attend via the virtual classroom. And you can also have direct contact with the other classmates. So you don't even have to go into the breakout rooms. You can directly speak to each other. If you will start online, you can stay online. It's no problem. We will offer, as in French, the written exam that will be at the end of each term, of each semester, online. So there's no need to worry about this. You can hand in all your assignments, a weekly assignment, or your workbook assignments by email. So just to give you a little overview about the first year, we have these 3 modules. They all work together. We will have one module that is concentrating more on grammar structures, but it's always in a very interactive way with a lot of pair work and group work. And we have the second module that is concentrating more on the listening and speaking abilities. And you will hear different dialogues, and we answer questions about this, and we will watch videos and answer questions about what goes on in that. And we have a cultural module where we concentrate on aspects of German, Austrian, and Swiss culture. Since German is the official language in these 3 countries, but also in parts of Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, the Netherlands. So German is next to French, the second biggest language in Europe, not just by the German population, but also by the neighboring countries. And you will have with this language the opportunity not just to travel and to experience beautiful countrysides in Bavaria, but also in Austria, and also see the Baltic Sea or the North Sea in the north of Germany. But you can also enhance your chances in working with companies that are also located in Ireland, not just in Dublin, but here in Galway as well, like Mayfair or other companies. So it is a very nice bonus on your CV. And some companies even pay for the diploma in German at the University of Galway. So the assessment, as Maura Anya already pointed out, for French, we will have these exams at the end of each semester, but we will also have to keep up your grammar structures and vocabulary. We have little assignments from week to week, whether it's a reading comprehension or a writing comprehension. And in semester 2, there will be for year 1 as well as year 2 in the diploma course, a short oral exam. The cultural part will be covered by a project work that you can do in semester 2 with your vocabulary that you have already gathered. You give a short presentation, and as Maura Anya also pointed out, it's not just learning a language, but you will practice other skills as well, whether it's pair, group work, or teamwork, and also presentations. So the second year is for the more intermediate level. So we continue with a communicative approach to teach the grammar. It will be always contrasted with English structures so that you have a better idea what we are talking about. There are these 3 modules as well. The second one is mostly concentrating on communication, whether it's in speaking or writing and listening and reading. And the third module is about contemporary Austrian, German, and Swiss culture and society. So what goes on today in these 3 countries. And we always have the opportunity to open on Blackboard a conversation group where you can meet and have an exchange with each other and practice with each other. So the assessment is similar to first year. All 3 modules will be assessed, the first and second by a written exam at the end of the semester, and an oral exam in semester 2, and another project work with a presentation in class in semester 2. So these assessments might be a subject of change. It always depends on what we can do during maybe another COVID round, or we'll see. So the course material that we will use is for the 2 years, a course book that comes in a package. It will cover the beginners until the second year, and will, as I said in the beginning, will lead you up to the level B1 when it comes to grammar and vocabulary. And you can do a lot of self-study with this book, and the material in the workbook helps you to really revise everything that we do once a week in our class. So additional material will be also available on Blackboard, so you can do little quizzes or other activities just to continue during the week with your learning outcome. So the independent study is quite necessary because it's only once a week that we meet in class. And so you have to do some vocabulary and some reading and listening during the week. And my advice is always make room at least once a day for a little bit of German to immerse yourself into the language, and it really helps to get a grip on it. And what I always also say is that German seems to be, for a lot of people, is seen as a difficult language, but if you start to do little bits and pieces day by day, you will see that you will make a lot of progress in no time. So as also was pointed out, we are always supporting you, so you can get in touch either by email or call us, or we can have a consultation hour on Blackboard once a week for the remote learners, so that you can always ask questions. There's never a question that shouldn't be asked, so don't feel intimidated to contact us and to get in touch with us. My email address is in this presentation, so I'm happy to see you on campus, but also via the virtual Blackboard classroom, and auf Wiedersehen.
First of all, I would like to thank you for your interest in the diploma, and I would like to say benvenuti, that is to say that you're very welcome to learning about the online diploma in Italian. My name is Andrea Ciribuco, and I am currently the coordinator of the online diploma. Now, our diplomas will be offered exclusively online in 2022-2023 because in Italian Ateneo e Galway, we were actually a bit of a pioneering team in terms of e-learning and online teaching of languages, thanks especially to the efforts of Professor Laura McLaughlin. And since the pandemic, we have exclusively concentrated on the online diploma. We used to have also an in-class, in-person diploma, and we would love to get back to that. Sorry, someone said we cannot really hear you. Thank you very much. Just a second, I will very quickly raise the volume in my microphone. Is it better now? Thank you. Thanks for pointing that out. Okay, so as I said, online only for the next 2 years at least. And that leaves us with two options, two courses of 2 years each, one for beginners and one for intermediate, to accommodate all entry points, all levels of Italian, and all learning goals. And speaking of learning goals, who generally takes a diploma in Italian? Well, we've had students who came to us for all sorts of reasons. First of all, we'd like to think because Italian is a beautiful language, but then again, we are biased. And first and foremost, there's professional interest. You may wish to add a language to your CV. Italy is, technically speaking, a market of more than 60 million people, one of the biggest markets in the EU, and therefore Italian is very much considered to be useful if you want to work in a multinational company or in a multinational environment or institution. But then again, some come to us because they're planning to spend some time in Italy for travel, for pleasure, or for education, because they wish to know more about Italian language and culture. There are so many entry points, both professional, cultural, and personal, into Italian. Some come because they're interested in Italian art, in Italian fashion, because they're in opera, because they're into sports or motors. There's really so many reasons to be interested in Italy. And some wish to connect with friends or family that they have in Italy. And it is suitable both for those who have not studied Italian yet and for those who have already studied some, independently or not, and wish to improve their level, wish to brush up their level of Italian that they already have. Now, when I said that there's two levels available. So the beginner's course starts from the A1 level of the Common European Framework for Languages. That means being able to have very simple conversations, talk about familiar topics, everyday topics, and talk about yourselves. This is what we cover in year 1 of the beginner's course, which means it is possible to start without any previous knowledge of Italian. Whereas the intermediate course starts from the B1 level, which is a more, a more independent level where you are already able to tackle more complex concepts. This means that we get 2 questions generally. So can I start from the intermediate diploma without having taken the beginners first? Yes. And can I start from year 2 of the beginner's diploma? Yes. And we'll see how that works. So if you are willing to start from year 1 of the beginner's diploma, you do not need to take any entry test at all. But for those who wish to start from year 2 of the beginners on, we would like to ask you to take a very short test to assess your level and make sure that you will be placed at the level of the diploma that really suits your level, your learning goals, and where you will be able to make the most of. The way to do that is very simple. You apply for the course via adult education as you would normally. We kindly ask you to do that by August 22 of this year. And at the same time, you contact me at andrea.ciribuco@galway.ie and you specify what level of study you would like to undertake. So we will send you some information on the entry requirements. And on Saturday, August 27, we will send you a very simple test as a Word document that you will have 2 hours to return to us via email. So we will be able to confirm your level with adult education and progress to your desired level, or perhaps we will recommend that you start at a slightly lower level. So these are key dates that Louise already covered. The course structure, as you can see, is fairly similar, and I would like just to point briefly to point out that we include both the language, including as language skills and communication skills modules, but also, especially in the intermediate diploma, there is also a focus on the culture where together with the lecturers and your classmates, you will also watch films and read books in Italian and will discuss what that means that you learn in terms of your understanding of Italian culture. And since this is online, I think it's very important to conclude by saying, what does a typical week of study in the online diploma in Italian look like? Beyond this, mainly online, a great component is independent study. So new learning content is uploaded to Blackboard, which is the virtual learning environment, which is the very important part of where the diploma takes place, every Monday. Every Monday, new content is uploaded. You will receive new content. And that may include a lot of things that are generally focused in a unit that is thematically organized. For example, travel, food, work, health. And in each unit, you will find vocabulary resources, grammar resources, both written, video, and audio. You will find exercises for self-assessment, but that can be great because it will allow you to organize your learning time and the time that you spend on each unit independently. But we also recognize that it is important, especially when learning a language, to have a component of interaction, which is why we have created tools for interacting with us, the lecturers. There's a team that is pretty much dedicated to the online diploma within the Italian department, and with other students who are taking your course. So we have forums, discussion boards. Some of that will be part of the assessment, I warn you, but some will not be. Some will just be spaces for you to talk about what interests you about Italian, what you have learned, to share useful resources that you may have found with the class. And there will be 6 or 7 synchronous online classes per semester. That means that unlike the rest of the learning activities, everyone will be connected via Zoom at the same time. These, it is to be confirmed, but these should take place every Wednesday at 6:30, roughly every second week. And with that, I thank you for your attention. And if you have any question, I will be happy to answer them. And sorry again about the low volume. Okay, I see a question from Celine. If you apply to start from year 2 beginners, does the course only last 1 year then? And do you still have a diploma? Yes. Yes. Short answer is yes. You can start from the 2nd year and directly take the diploma after 1 year.
Everybody, my name is Ornat Nichelchert and I work in Active na Hallscoileachta Gaeilge, which is a college within NUIG. I must say it was lovely listening to all the other speakers there, and I first felt like doing a diploma in French, then I wanted to do it in German, and now I want to do it in Italian, and I'll probably want to do a Spanish diploma later on. Renos, I'm going to speak to you about Diploma sa Gaeilge. Okay, so our Irish diploma is a 2-year part-time course offered by ourselves, Active na Hallscoileachta Gaeilge. Unlike some of the other courses, we're going back into the classroom this year. Now, if there is a huge demand for online classes, we will attempt to provide them, but we feel it's better to make our way back into the live classroom this year. Our course is based on the NUIG campus, but again, depending on demand, they may be organised in outreach centres. For example, if we got 15 people in Ennis who wanted to do a diploma sa Gaeilge, we could easily organise a class in the outreach centre down there. If we got 15 people up in Castlebar, we could do the same thing, but mostly they're based on the NUI campus. It's quite a big course. We get a few hundred students every year, so our diplomas are offered at different levels, and these levels are based on what is called the Common European Framework of References for Languages. It basically determines if you're a beginner, if you're intermediate, or if you're an advanced learner. So anyone who applies will be asked to complete an online quiz, and that would determine that particular applicant's level. Now, the A2 level is for complete beginners. So it's mostly foreign nationals who go for that course, maybe American students who are spending a year in NUIG. B1 and B2 is intermediate level. It will be aimed at those maybe who studied Irish at school, but who are a little bit rusty maybe, maybe didn't spend enough time studying Irish and would like to get to grips with it again. And then C1 will be quite an advanced level. No entry level is required for A though, because it's for complete beginners, but those applying for the other levels, the B and the C diplomas, require a pass in higher level Irish. Now, if we have people who didn't sit a Leaving Cert or who didn't maybe acquire an honour in Leaving Cert, we do have the recognition of prior learning as well. For example, if they're a native speaker, we'd accept them straight away, or you know, if their language level is very high, of course, we'd accept them. So I wouldn't be very worried about that. So some important dates or maybe some important times. The application process is now open, and I would say the classes begin to fill up in August. So I would advise people, if they are interested in doing Diploma sa Gaeilge, to think about it now and then get their application in before August. all courses commence mid-September. They usually begin the second week after the semester starts. They are concurrent with the NUIG semester, as in they take place throughout the semester. 20 sessions in all, 10 in semester 1, 10 in semester 2. And I would also emphasize that our oral and written exams take place in April when the semester is over. So it's important to think about those times of year. I'm not mentioning any dates yet. How our course is laid out. The classes usually consist of a 3-hour evening session each week. Now I say usually because sometimes maybe if we get a bunch of students who are free between 2 and 5 on a Thursday afternoon, we might hold one of the classes then, bearing in mind we have about 10 or 12 different classes altogether. We have a handbook for each level, and we supply that handbook at the beginning of the semester. Again, all the language elements are covered in varying degrees: éisteacht, listening; labhairt, of course, speaking; léamh, reading; agus scríobh, writing. We employ a variety of teaching strategies, different language games, role play, quizzes, group work, audio, visual, online material, and so on. So you won't be sitting down reading a book and listening to the teacher, okay? We use an corchaige cumarsáideach, that some of the other speakers have mentioned as well, the communicative approach. Okay, if we're doing something maybe on holidays, okay, we'll break you up in groups to talk about where you like to go on holidays, what country you like, and so on. And then we might bring in the present tense, for example. So a theme is often married with, I suppose, a grammatical aspect of the language. We have continuous support from our office on Diploma, on IFIG on Diploma. We have a full-time secretary dealing with all our inquiries and offering support. We have different course coordinators for the different diploma levels, and the individual tutors are fantastic, and we always get great feedback and our teachers. We're on Blackboard as well, and again, everything that is covered in class and some supplementary material is available on Blackboard also. So definitely you're not alone. Agus tá takeíoch down. We have very good support. If you are thinking of doing on Diploma the first thing I would say to you is you do need a level of commitment, and that is mentioned by the other speakers as well. You are given weekly tasks, maybe a reading task that you might have to record yourself and send to your tutor, for example. You might have a short essay to write, you might have a short comprehension test, and so on. They're all corrected and feedback is sent back to you. I would say that you would have to put aside a few hours every week, maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours, depending on the level, because you do need to revise. And you do have to make time for your independent learning as well. You know, you will have to listen, for example, to Ráidí na Gaeltachta maybe, or to watch some programs on TG Cahir, and just to be more aware of the Irish language. Another point is we have one assessment per semester as well, on top of all our classes. Okay, now depending on your level, it could be a listening exam, it could be reading comprehension, it might be a press release. And this takes place outside of normal class hours. So you do need to take that into consideration as well. Okay, just a quick point there on Diploma C1, that is for the more advanced level. And again, you are talking about, you know, fairly big commitment there. It is quite heavier. You would have to do a presentation at your oral exam. You would have to review a book. In second year, we run a series of lectures, and we ask you to write an essay as well on a given topic. So it is quite a big time investment, but of course it's well worth your time. Up to the Great Catastrophe 2 years ago, we used to organise a yearly trip to An Gaeltacht, or a weekend to An Charrua or to Corna, and hopefully we'll get going on those as well this year. They're optional, but again, it really helps if you're interested in going back west. What kind of people or who normally do our courses? We get a lot of NUIG students, and our fee for the NUIG students is €250. So if you have any sons, daughters, nieces, nephews, and so on, you might mention that to them. It's $660 for alumni if you were previously in NUIG. And then the public pay €990. That might seem like a lot, but a lot of companies pay for people doing the diploma. As I mentioned earlier, the A2 is for international learners, really, those no prior knowledge of Irish. Those who do go for BHAN and BAdó would be those maybe who'd be interested in teaching, who are doing different courses at the moment, who are in different careers, and who are thinking maybe of doing the Hibernia, for example. A lot of people who work in Gaeltacht areas, maybe who work for civil service, who are involved in public health and so on, like to brush up on their Irish. A lot of people do it for family reasons. Maybe their kids are attending a Gaelscoil. We get a lot of retirees, people who have retired and have more time in their hands and would like to revisit Irish. And of course, those who have a cultural interest in the language as well. There is no typical, I suppose, diploma student. Going on to CAN, the more advanced level, that really is partaken by those who use Irish regularly. We get a lot of teachers who are teaching different subjects, not necessarily Irish, in Gaelscoils, for example. Civil service, those working maybe with the county council, or as I mentioned, with the health service and so on. Those who work with cultural institutions, Gaeltacht participants, people who live in Gaeltacht, people who are involved in the Meon Chummerside, in the Irish language media, people who work with Radio Gaeltacht, RTG Cahar, or who engage with those media on a regular basis. So as I said, there's no typical diploma student. We get from the 18-year-old up to, we had a lady who was 79 doing our diploma last year. So being fall to Rivchoch, everyone is welcome, and there's something definitely there for everybody. What kind of progression or how does one progress? Because we begin at the beginning, a lot of people who started with the BHAN made their way up to BAdó and are now doing the CHAN. So they take the journey and they see themselves improving. Definitely there's teaching opportunities, as Marta Anya mentioned. I think the diploma doesn't qualify you to teach in Irish, okay, but it would qualify you maybe if you got a BAdó, it would qualify you to do the Hibernia course. So there are quite, there's a few backdoor options, I suppose, as regards to teaching there. A lot of people who got on well in the diploma went on to do a BA in Irish as well. And of course, there's lots of work-related opportunities and promotions and so on, particularly here in the west of Ireland. As I mentioned, we have a full-time secretary working in our IFIG on Diploma Saghilge. So if you have any questions, if you need any information, please give Zara a ring. That's Zara, and she's available on that number. Send us an email to undiplomasaghilge@oegalibh.ie. Or we also have a page on the NUI Galway website. So if anybody has any questions, I might have ran through things quite briefly there. They're more than welcome to ask, or please get in contact with us via Dangwalling agus Den Midirecht Kuna Hartiev.
Thanks very much, Odie. I just see a question there. Is it possible to go into year 2 of the degree with this diploma?
Excuse me, sorry, I didn't hear you there properly.
Is it possible to go into year 2 of the degree with this diploma?
It is, but you would have to contact the office on Diploma Saghilge. It depends on what mark you get. You would have to get, I think, a 2-1, but I would need to confirm that.
Okay, and there's a question there from Celine. Is there a special fee for NUI Galway staff?
There is, Celine, as far as I'm aware, it's $250 as well, Celine. But again, you would have to contact on Diploma Saghilge. I'm sorry, now I don't have a straight answer for that, but there's definitely a very reduced fee for NUIG staff.
Great.
Okay, well, my name is Lorna Shaughnessy, and I'm the coordinator of the Diploma in Spanish. I don't actually teach the diploma. The diploma is taught by native speakers, dynamic staff members of the Spanish department who get really wonderful feedback from students regularly. And we're actually planning to go back on campus like Irish in September this year. This decision is based really on feedback from our students over the last couple of years. I think it was about a 60-40 feedback, about 60% of people preferred to be on campus. So we're going to run with that for the next cycle. It doesn't mean that that'll be forever. We may return to the online option and consider that again, but for this coming cycle, we will definitely be on campus for classes. So I'm going to try and share screen now. Okay. Okay, so the Spanish evening diploma, here we go. We start at beginner's level. There are no entry requirements. So like my colleague in Irish was saying, this is you're coming in at level A1 as a complete beginner. And over the 2 years, we take you to level A2 of the Common European Framework for Languages. Okay. Who are our typical students? Again, as many of my colleagues have said, it's difficult to see a typical student nowadays, although there are new groupings, new constituencies of students that we may not have had before. Very often it's people who just want to learn Spanish for travel purposes, people who want to learn some Spanish for work purposes if their company has branches in Spain, people who have Spanish-speaking family members. This is increasingly common. We have students who come along because a family member, a son, a daughter, a brother, sister, has a Spanish-speaking partner, and they want to be able to interact with their family as well. So that's a growing area and a growing area of kind of recruitment really for the diploma. We have, as already mentioned, people who've retired and have time to take on a language and learn a language that they may have wanted to for a long time. And we have people who want to consolidate the Spanish that they may have learned at Leaving Cert or in other courses that they've done exams in or have certificates for. And those people can qualify for a direct entry to the second year of the program. And as has already been established in the other languages, you can then complete your diploma, get your diploma after 1 year of study. If anyone has questions about how we go about that, I can take the questions after this short presentation. All classes will be held on campus this year, starting September. First years will start on Monday the 12th, and second year will start on Thursday the 8th. So first year classes are on Mondays, second year classes are on Thursdays. And what is it you're going to be doing in class? Well, some of the classes, probably 1 3/4 hours in the first semester, will be devoted to learning about the grammar and practicing the grammar in group and pair work. We really like people to work with their peers a lot. It creates a nicer learning environment, and it also makes it easier for you to talk to each other when you're starting to talk in the language. Like our other colleagues, like the other languages, we will be teaching grammar and vocabulary within the context of certain themes, usually very useful themes when you're starting out, like your daily routine, your family, your workplace, holidays, those kind of topics where you're going to be using the vocabulary in the real world. Other classes we devote exclusively to spoken Spanish, and we divide you into smaller groups for these, and you work on your listening comprehension there as well. In the second semester, we devote a 50-minute class to aspects of Hispanic cultures. In the first year, that will be focusing on contemporary Spain. It could be themes like the different regional cultures. And in the second year, you'd be looking at aspects of certain Latin American cultures. Obviously, we can't cover the whole of Latin America, but we'll pick out certain countries and give you an introduction to those. So the modules, I mean, they look very abstract here on the slide, SH120, SH128, but really these are just the titles of the modules, are the way that we organize the material and the units that you study and are examined in. It makes a lot more sense when you start the program and you go on to Blackboard. I think it's already been explained. Blackboard is the platform, the NUIG platform that we use to store all our teaching materials and for communicating with our students. So it's very, very useful. So if you go into Blackboard as a first year, the modules you'll see in the first semester, SH120, your written language and grammar, and SH128, your oral Spanish. And inside those module titles, you'll find the materials that are covered in class. So it's also very useful if you happen to miss a class, if you can't be there, you can go back into Blackboard and you'll find the materials that have been covered and you could do some catching up yourself. Semester 2 for first years, again, there's a focus on written language and grammar and vocabulary. And the other module, SH128, is not just your spoken language class, but also that introduction to contemporary Spain that I already mentioned. The assessment for first year, the 2 modules on your written Spanish, they're assessed through continuous assessment. There'll be 3 tasks usually per semester, and they'll be done in class time. And then at the end of each semester, you have a 2-hour written examination. In December, that will happen at the end, in December, in your class time. And in April, it will probably be on campus in a large exam hall. Your oral Spanish is assessed by an oral examination at the end of the year in April. And your introduction to the cultural part of the course is assessed by continuous assessment, and that will be done in class. Course materials, we would be asking you to buy 2 books. The Aula Internacional, it's a very interactive kind of book. It will be used in class, and sometimes the tutor will ask you to work on things from the book yourselves at home. It's got some good listening comprehensions, for example, that you can work on at home. And it's nice to have, a lot of our students we find like to have a grammar book as well that to go to with extra grammar exercises. So this is one that will serve you for the 2 years that you'd be studying the diploma. This book you'll find useful for both first year and second year. We all stress the need for independent study. I always compare learning a language to learning a musical instrument. It has to be practiced, it's use it or lose it. And I think even in the early stages, there's a lot to memorize, there's a lot to learn, there's a lot of vocabulary and your conjugations of verbs and everything else. So, you know, we tend to think that an hour a day is a good model to work by. If you can get that hour a day, that's 7 hours in the week. Some people want to do more, some people need to do more, but an hour a day is a good kind of guideline for really keeping on top of what you've done in class, learning new vocabulary, memorizing whatever it is you need to memorize and integrate. There will always be plenty of supplementary materials available to you on Blackboard, materials that you can use to practice on your own. So key dates for 2022, 2023, orientation will be September the 3rd, which is a very important date for first years. The first year classes will be September 12th to December 5th, and the in-class exam 12th of December. Second year classes start September 8th and November 24th, with an in-class exam on Thursday, the 8th of December. And then just the dates for the second semester classes there. Any queries at all, please don't hesitate to write me an email. We can set up a phone call or communicate whichever way suits you. Okay, so I'll stop sharing now and I'll check the chat and see if there are any queries.
Now, does anyone in the group have a question for the diploma in Spanish or any other questions about the diplomas we spoke about earlier on today? You can pop them in the chat now. The fees for Spanish?
The same as for the other diplomas, it's 900 and, you can correct me, Louise, is 975, 970?
I'm just going to double check that now, Lorna.
Yeah. That's per annum.
It's €985 per
Oh,
annum.
it's gone up, sorry, €985. Thank you.
There's a question there. Somebody has a B in Pass Irish. Would that be sufficient for advanced entry, I guess, to one of the diplomas in Irish?
Hi, it's Margaret. It probably would, Margaret, but you'd need to contact us. Oh, for the B1, definitely. That should be sufficient, Margaret. If you wanted to do the C1, that is quite an advanced course, but definitely I'd say you'd be fine, Margaret. But if you want to chat with us about that, you know, we can explore that further. But I wouldn't be too worried about that, Margaret.
Anyone else with a question? No. The 30% discount, it applies to French, German, Spanish, and Italian. It doesn't apply to the diploma in Irish. I'm going to share the our email address there, artspt@nuigalway.ie. If anyone has thinks of a question after today, we can get back to you. Odie, there's another one there for you about running Irish courses in Ennis.
Again, we would need about maybe 15 people at the same level as 15 people who will be qualified to do the C1 or the B2 or whatever. But definitely we're very open to organising classes in other centres.
And Odie, can you maybe type the email address for the diploma queries into the chat box?
It's on the
The previous slide.
but I'll just
Type it in there, that'd be brilliant.
it's a long one.
That's great, thanks, Odie. Any final questions now before we wrap up? Okay, I'd like to thank everyone who joined us today, and thanks to my colleagues for giving such great presentations. And if any of you have questions that you think of again, you can just drop us an email and we'll get back to you. And thanks again to everyone.